Good afternoon and welcome to TalkSports, our weekend edition. It's a Saturday sports special. And as indicated, we have a special guest on our program this weekend. And it's the first time this person will be on our program. And first of all, I want to thank all those who have supported our program over the past few weeks. I should say past few months, I should say. Yeah, and it's more than a year now. We're kicking. And I want to thank you for being part of the program. But on today's program, we have the mother of Bralon Taplin, Miss Contina Griffin. And Miss Contina Griffin, will be speaking to us in her first interview, I should say. So it's an exclusive interview on the situation with Bralon Taplin. As you recall, Bralon Taplin is serving suspension from World Athletics, from WADA, regarding, claiming that he had evaded sample collection. Bralon vehemently denied and has been, appealing and fighting to clear his name as well as to get back in training. And for full disclosure, folks, I want to say first of all that I'm a friend of Bralon. So full disclosure, I have to say that, okay? And I have the privy of looking at the documents, and it's no secret that there are many instances of inconsistencies in those who have bear witness against Bralon. There's no hiding about that. First off, I want to say. So my disclosure is that I'm a friend of Bralon, but at the same time, I have seen, and it's unbelievable, okay? And it's my hope that at some point in time, that those things will come to the public so that the public will have its own view on the situation with Bralon Taplin. It's a serious situation, and I thought it was handled, it wasn't handled properly, and Bralon was put in a very difficult situation. But we have his mother, Miss Contina Griffin, who will speak to us about the situation with Bralon. Obviously, if Bralon is appealing, it's right for Bralon not to speak at this time. But his mom wants to speak, and she's very passionate about the situation. And let me welcome Miss Contina Griffin to the program. And Miss Contina is in Austin, Texas, like myself. And somewhere about, Texas is very big, But let me say good afternoon to you, Miss Griffin. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, and it's nice seeing you and nice hearing from you. And first of all, with the situation with Bralon Taplin, how much you think this, and I want to hear from you, this is affecting you as a mother, okay, to know that the allegations against your son, a professional athlete, and then your involvement to some extent, because you have been directly involved in terms of communicating, all of that, how much that is affecting?
The decision has affected me greatly as a mother. It has affected Bralon as well, financially, mentally, and physically. Um, Bralon lost his contract with Puma. In addition, his goals to open a gym and provide shoes, clothing, and gear for Grenada youth has come to a halt. Mentally, Bralon has suffered from depression and anxiety. Um, Bralon has lost his athletic training and nutrition. Um, this decision has really painted a negative image of Bralon and brought great shame to his name.
And I'm certain as a mother, you're very concerned about that. And not just a mother, but one who is deeply involved in Bralon's affairs to an extent, it certainly has affected you personally as well.
Yes, it has.
How much? How much so?
Greatly. It has greatly. It has affected me greatly. To witness Braylon's career come to a halt like this, based off false accusations, has affected me as a mother. Um, to see him depressed and and going through it, a moment of PTSD has really been hard for me as a mother.
Mhm. So after all these months of ups and downs, I should say, and it comes at a not just a financial loss to Bralon and family, but continuing to be at a financial loss because for him to continue to appeal and get the hearing and all of it, it's also has a financial impact.
Yes. Yes, it
So
has.
right. So tell me, if you can give me some step by step of what has happened back then in April of 2019 that led to this allegations or accusation that Bralon has evaded sample collection.
Um, the night April it was April 13th, 2019. It was the night of the track meet. The night of the track meet, there was no indication that they were looking for Braylon. I was not aware. I was there, so I was not made aware that they were looking for Braylon. It was April the 14th, the next day, when I was called into a meeting at the hotel. The hotel staff called me and let me know that I had a meeting in the conference room. Some people wanted to meet with me. When I got into the conference room, I met with the lead DCO and the LOC. They had informed me that Braylon he was en route back to the US, and they were trying to figure out how they can get him to come back to Grenada or get him tested in Trinidad. They was trying to get the testing approved. However, it wasn't. They were not able to get it approved. So the lead DCO, um, she made a decision that they were just going to get Braylon tested once he arrived in the U.S. The On the 15th of April, I ended up sending a message to the LOC and I asked the LOC for updates, what was going on. The LOC didn't inform me that the testing would not be done, and he informed me that they had messed up. And he also stated that um, the fact that the shop around did not bring Braylon to the room was proof of their error. And I asked him at that time, would they be blaming Braylon for anything? And he stated to me, no. So I thought it was taken care of. I thought, you know, they messed up. That's what he said. That's what I believed. It was 4 months later when they came about with a um, invasion of collection sample. So we wasn't aware of them accusing him of invading until 4 months, which was in August. So the track meet was in April and the invasion came in August.
So even between that period of time, Bralon was competing. Everything was as normal. Seems to be as normal.
Yes. He was competing. He was getting drug tested. No, he was being tested. No, he didn't have no failed test or anything. So everything was normal until August when we received the letter.
And you know that for many, because there are people who believe that Bralon failed a drug test because there hasn't been much explanation as to the whole issue of evading sample collection or whereabouts, whatever it is. And it is as if Bralon has failed a doping test, right? You're
Yes,
aware of that, okay?
yes, because it was also advertised on ESPN And I had family reaching out to me, telling me Bralon was on drugs. So a lot of people do not understand the evading sample collection. They did not understand the termination of that. They thought he was on drugs. He's doing drugs, or he was tested and came positive for drugs. So a lot of people reached out to us, to me, just saying, "Oh, is Bralon on drugs?" and asking me questions about whether or not him being on drugs, which was very embarrassing, very hurtful, because I knew he don't do drugs, and I knew track is important, and for them to advertise it even on TV was hurtful.
And you were in Grenada at the time of the track meet, right?
Yes, I was.
Right. And you believe that for some reason, if, as they claim, that they could not have get in touch with Bralon, that someone would at least reach out to you.
Correct.
And no one reached out to you.
No, not until the next day.
Not until the next day. Okay. And you have seen the evidence put forward against Bralon Taplin. And I'm certain you are a bit astonished by the fact that there were so many inconsistencies in the evidence put forward against your son, Bralon Taplin.
Yes.
Okay. What are some of those that you can talk to that at least you'll want the public to know about?
One thing, when I was called into the meeting, in the conference meeting, there was a joking. The lead DCO, she was joking. It was a joking matter. That indicated to me that they was aware that Bralon had left right after the track meet. And it was just a joking matter of that made me feel like, okay, you're aware that he left. The thing was they was trying to figure out how to get him tested because they didn't get him tested, but they was trying to figure out how to do it. And even with the LOC stating that they made error, like he admitted that it was an error made on their behalf. And for them to come back and say, okay, he invaded, like how? I mean, when you just admitted that you was aware that he left, and now you're saying that it's an error. I mean, you told me it was an error, but now you're saying that he invaded. That's questionable to me. And then 4 months later, you come with whatever. The evidence that they have is a lot of he say, she say. It's not concrete evidence. So the inconsistency in the evidence is a lot of things of them saying one thing, making a statement, and then going back and changing their statement. So there's a lot of inconsistencies in the different things that they were saying as well, even in the hearings that we had.
But you do know that the burden of proof is on Bralon in terms of trying to explain and give reasons as to why he is not evading. And that there was one instance where one witness said that Bralon has evaded or was evading or evaded him. And then the same witness in another hearing said that he did not use the word evading, but what he said was that he lost sight of Bralon because a lot of supporters or spectators converge around Bralon, and it was difficult for him to get control of Bralon. He lost sight of Bralon. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. Was there any attempt during those hearings to bring to the attention of the inconsistencies of the witnesses in one hearing to the other?
No, there was not.
Okay. So that's why I'm saying, therefore, it's a situation where Bralon has to, it's the burden of proof on Bralon, and therefore Bralon has to prove his innocence. Okay. Yeah. So at this point in time, is Bralon continuing with the appeal process with the hope of clearing his name?
Yes, he is.
And how is he going about and I mean, not going into all the details, but I mean, how is he hoping to go about to clear his name?
I can't really speak a lot about it because I will be going into detail on what he's doing. Um, but he is trying. He has been trying. He's been back to Grenada trying to speak with different people in regards to it. Um, and that's more or less what we're asking now is that people will communicate with him. Grenada will communicate with him and give him support because he needs support. He needs the support from Grenada. And we're asking that they will communicate with them and support him.
Mm-hmm. And talking about support, are you satisfied that he has received that level of support from Grenada, especially the Grenada Athletic Association?
No, I'm not. I'm not satisfied that he'll receive. You said that level of support. You said that
Well,
he didn't receive support, or you're
well, whatever support that you are advocating for, are you satisfied that he has received or is receiving the support?
he
Probably
has
from
not yet received support.
any indication that they will be supporting Bralon?
Not at this time.
Not at this time. Okay. What were you hoping that the authorities in Grenada, whether the organizers or the Grenada Athletic Association, could or should have done during that process?
I'm hoping still that they would open up a line of communication with Bralon. They would support him in investigating everything that has happened, the inconsistencies. Um, I'm just asking that Bralon receive the same support that I'm currently seeing a lot of athletes in other countries receiving. I'm just hoping that he received that because I'm seeing a lot of athletes receiving great support from their countries, and I'm just hoping that Bralon will receive support from Grenada.
And the comparison you're bringing is probably the sort of support probably US track and field, for example, with some of the athletes who would have been in similar situations with Bralon. Is that sort of support you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. What and there is a big if. I don't know if you or Bralon would have sit down and analyze and look at the pros and cons. But the big if is that if Bralon is not successful in going forward, maybe his last attempt, what next?
Wow.
And it's a big if, right?
Yeah, that's a big if. I can't even speak on it because that's a big if. We are still open to communication with Grenada. We're hoping that the athletic association will communicate with Bralon. So that's a big if.
As a mother and one who has supported Bralon even in his track and field career, do you believe, Ms. Griffin, that Bralon received a raw deal, knowing for a fact that the sort of commitment, the level of commitment, and to Grenada in particular, especially when he was needed? Do you believe that Bralon got a raw deal in terms of how he was treated, not looking for any special treatment, but basically the way he was treated and just left on the wayside?
I'm gonna speak from a mother's part of it, not Bralon. I'm not
But
speaking for him.
yes, that is what I want you to do. Speak as a mother.
As a raw deal, when it comes to the support that was needed and that is still needed, the communication that is needed, we didn't receive. He didn't receive that. Bralon has great pride in running for Grenada. He represented Grenada well. We just wish in return he would have got support. And with him being suspended for 4 years is like, yeah, we wish it was different. and we wish the truth, will prevail.
I know you are privy to a lot of information, and some you may not want to discuss publicly, and for reasons. And are you aware of some form that has been, well, anti-doping form that was missing during the crucial part of the hearing, well, and especially the first hearing, that probably may have turned the tide in favor of Bralon? Are you aware of that?
Yes.
What you know about this form now? What happens to this form?
There was a lot of inaccuracies with the form. Even in the hearing, there was a lot of one moment they would say one thing, in the second hearing they would say something different. Now that is another very inaccuracy of the hearings with the form. The form was never presented. The form to even notify him that he was selected, it wasn't presented.
And was that form signed by Bralon?
No.
So it was an unsigned form that, well, unsigned in terms of, no signature from Bralon. Therefore, it wasn't available for that crucial hearing, and somehow may have turned up, or
the first hearing it was not available.
Well, yeah, the first
The
hearing in
second
particular.
hearing, it appeared.
It appeared. Any reason why it wasn't available for the first hearing?
They said that the form was destroyed. They destroyed the form. The first hearing, they said the form was destroyed. The second hearing, some form appeared. But at no time was either form signed. The form was never signed.
And you believe that an unsigned form is an indication that Bralon's had a very good case in terms of he was not approached or whatever it is. I'm trying to get the phrases that were used, by those who said that they approached Bralon.
The form, first of all, the form did not have Bralon's name on it, and according to the water rules, the form is important. The form is supposed to be signed. He's supposed to be, that's his notification. That's the indication that he was notified. However, that form was not signed. He did not see the form. And also, even with the LOC stating that they did not bring him to the room, they did not show him the form. The LOC also made that statement saying that it was their error because they did not do it.
So you're saying that there were acceptance of guilt by the LOC in terms of they made an error.
Correct.
And that still did not put Bralon in a bright spot.
No.
So therefore, what you believe was the overwhelming evidence against Bralon, what you believe were the overwhelming evidence against your son, Bralon.
Mm-hmm. What do I believe?
What you believe? After if all these inconsistencies were highlighted, but yet for all, Bralon was still found,
I believe
guilty.
that because so many people, because of the lead, the lead DCO had so many people coming together. They all spoke with each other. They all told each other what to say and how to say it in the hearings. Because of all of that, and Bralon didn't have the support that he really needed. I believe that because of that, how the lead DCO was able to have the people speak against him, the judges went with what they were saying versus Bralon, even though Bralon had the information that he needed, even though he had we had a text message from the LOC, that still didn't stand. And they didn't have any signed documentation saying that he was notified. However, it wasn't enough because there was so many people going against him.
Earlier, you mentioned Trinidad and Tobago. Well, I think you did mention Trinidad, something to the fact. While, in fact, at the same time, let me say good afternoon to Paul Voisin from Trinidad, listening in from Trinidad and Tobago, very dear to track and field. What it is that the involvement of Trinidad, was it that Bralon was en route to the United States and he was in Trinidad? He was contacted in Trinidad. Give me an update as to what and where Trinidad came into this.
Yes. When Bralon was en route back to the U.S., he was in Trinidad at the time when they called me into a conference room to speak with me in regards to it. They was trying to get him approved for out of competition tests in Trinidad. However, they were not able to get him approved. And so they ended up telling him to just get an out of competition test done once he got back into the U.S.
Okay, and then, so therefore, what happens? He returned to the U.S. So what happened to the out of competition test in the U.S.?
That's when I spoke with the text message the LOC, and I asked him what was going to happen with the testing, and he told me that it was not going to happen because no one came to test him in the U.S. So the LOC said that the testing was not going to happen. And that's when he stated that they made error, that it was error on Grenada's side.
Was there any attempt being made to get Bralon back to Grenada to do the testing? Or it was just a matter of instructing him that there's possibility of him being tested out of competition in the U.S.?
No, it was not. What they wanted him to do was like pay for it himself. However, he was not able to. So no, they did not try to get him back into Grenada.
When you say pay for himself, you mean buy a ticket to return to Grenada?
Correct.
Oh, okay. All right. Ms. Griffin, we going a bit now. I have to develop. For those who don't really know the type of person Bralon Taplin is, can you give us, in a nutshell, outside of track and field, though, what type of person is Bralon Taplin? For those listening, those watching, for them to get to know a bit intimate about Bralon Taplin.
Bralon is he's an honest person. He's a very caring person. He don't like confrontation. With track is like Bralon's is his world. He really gave a lot into track and field. I can recall like us trying to go on vacations, and it's just like if there was not a track, he didn't really want to go. I could say track was very important to him. And as I stated before, he's a very caring person.
I guess as much you just want to stick around the track issue, and Bralon's life is about track. I spoke to Bralon, and I mean, I can share that with the public because I spoke to Bralon and I asked Bralon, what is his normal day? And Bralon said to me that when he gets up, he just think about how he can get past this situation, how he can clear his name. And that is all he has been thinking about from sunup to sundown. That's the type of person you want to see Bralon is, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Let me ask you, Ms. Griffin, do you regret Bralon taking the decision to represent Grenada in retrospect?
No, I don't. I don't.
You thought it was the best decision. You thought it was the right decision.
Yes.
But what you do is that you're hoping that Grenada can continue to support Bralon.
Yes.
How you think outside of the Grenada Athletic Association, what sort of support you asking for Bralon Taplin? You know,
I'm asking that they will communicate with them. They will support him. They will reach out to him and communicate with him.
and I'm saying outside of the Grenada Athletic Association, like the public, what sort of support that the public can provide to Bralon
We're
Taplin?
asking the public for support. We're asking for, I mean, we need support. I'm not exactly sure how we can get the support for the Grenada Athletics Association, how we can get the public to help us get them to support us. I'm not exactly sure how that works in Grenada, but um, I'm just asking the public to, if they are aware, if anybody's aware of how we can get support from the Grenada Athletic Association, to let us know what steps we need to take, what do we need to do to help Bralon get the support that he really needs in this situation, because it has now been 2 years of the 4-year suspension, and he's suspended on inaccurate information. He's suspended on a test. Well, he's suspended on a testing that he was never notified of.
Earlier, you said as well that even at the time when, during those period, a few months, well, could have been what, 4 months, a duration of probably 4 months. Bralon was competing and Bralon was being tested at the same time. Okay, and there was no problem in terms of the testing and whatever. It was just that situation in Grenada.
Correct.
Okay. Do you think that the Grenada Athletic Association could have played a more leading role and you mentioned about an investigation, a leading role in what transpired in Grenada back in April of 2019, yeah. And that, just as I think you made mention of it, and you use, even though you didn't call specific, but I believe it was the US track and field you were given an example of, where there were instances of athletes having issues and the USATF dealt with it. And in some instances where they investigated and found them liable, they were sanctioned. Okay. That is what you really believe that should have happened in the case of Bralon, or probably, well, I don't know for now, but should have happened in the first place.
Yes. And even with this situation, Bralon experienced a similar situation. No, he didn't experience it, but there was athletes in Jamaica that experienced a similar situation as Bralon, and their association participated. They supported, so it wasn't the same results as Bralon is receiving right now.
You asking for this open communication with Grenada, and particularly the Grenada Athletic Association, but have Bralon reached out, or you have reached out, Bralon's camp reached out to the Grenada Athletic Association? Yeah. If so, have there been any form of contact, any form of communication since then?
No, not at this time, no.
Yeah, you say no at this time, meaning that they have not, you have, when I say
we have reached out, yes, we reached out. Bralon reached out, and at this time, no. They have not acknowledged or responded back to him in form of communication.
Okay, and I'm aware that Bralon has been back and forth to Grenada even during the pandemic to an extent. What he has been doing in Grenada, or trying to do in Grenada?
He has been trying to speak with people to clear his name, and as well as ask them to investigate the situation.
This is a tough cookie, Mom. And I can understand how, as a mom, as a mother, and one who supported Bralon throughout his track and field career, is really feeling. And as one who, someone who told me, just earlier this week that their feeling about the whole situation with Bralon, and I'm saying that again because the situation was that they thought that there could have been a little more interest from the authorities in Grenada regarding Bralon in the context that when Grenada needed someone, Bralon was there. Bralon came forward. Bralon was on the international scene carrying the Grenada flag in light of Kirani James's absence due to health. And they thought, and I'm telling you that what they're saying, that it was a raw deal for Bralon in the context of how he was treated by the officials, and that there could have been a little more support. I have been in contact with Bralon, but I wasn't aware that Bralon has not received any form of contact or communication with the authorities in Grenada regarding that. Even though they may claim that, hey, the situation is that it went to CAS and CAS made a ruling, whatever, I still believe that there should have been some level of communication. And again, and this is my view, it's another indication and evidence of how the Athletic Association treats athletes in general. And it has been noted that many athletes, especially those who are living in the diaspora, are having serious issues with how the Grenada Athletic Association communicates, one, and, keep in touch with the athletes. By way of disclosure, again, I'll be on a program on Sunday to speak about those issues regarding sports and especially in the diaspora. And I'm given notice that these are some of the things I'll be speaking about because I've been speaking to the athletes, hearing from them some of their issues. And these are the reoccurring issues regarding the way the Grenada Athletic Association treats their athletes, the lack of communication. Only when it's time for competition, they hear from them, and nothing regarding their welfare and what is happening, how the training is going, whatever it is. And it's a serious indictment. And I'm hoping that coming out of this and others, that there could be a new beginning for the Grenada Athletic Association and how it treats its athletes. Let me get some comments. Good afternoon. And some of the athletes, obviously, are those who are listening and commenting. Zaid McFarlane is one of Grenada's upcoming athletes. He's saying good afternoon, everyone. And also Paul Wasson in Trinidad listening, and he put TNT. Then there is another comment here I want to get at. It's and some of them I will be very selective. Tahira Klein saying, Mom, I feel your pain. Oftentimes I've said that the only time we seem to recognize our athletes is when they are out there doing good. When they really need our help, the persons who are in position to help turn a blind eye. We need to do better. Okay, I'm trying to get some of the comments and hoping that the comments are, Mike, your comment needs to be a bit shorter so I can get it on the screen. It's coming on. And Mike, you're making some points, but it's a bit lengthy that, no, I wouldn't be able to put it up because it's too long. It will take the entire screen. Let me get another one. Donna Joseph, here in Grenada, the Olympic Committee is run by a team of unscrupulous people with only when it's time for competition, they will seek out the athletes while the committee tops relish the finances for the perks. I need comments there, but we need to be a bit more, if I may say, a little more on the diplomatic side. I know how people feel about it. And I know Bralon has a lot of support, in Grenada, and I know how people feel about that. But I will try to get Mike Baptiste's comment because it is, I think he's making some very important point. Let me see if I can get it up, Mike. The only way to get support is to come down and bypass the Grenada Athletic Association and try to get an audience with the Prime Minister directly. No one else will do anything for him because once there isn't something to gain, no move will be made. The former Minister of Sport told the media that he was in agreement with the GAA statement on the matter. The media then had to state that no statement was put out by them on the matter at the time. He didn't care, and the GAA didn't care. Only place to go is to the Prime Minister. That is a point from Mike Batiste, and Mike is very adamant in terms of the way the Grenada Athletic Association in particular has been, treating their athletes. And this is not really bashing the Athletic Association, bringing, issues to the fore. The Olympic Committee in Grenada don't care one bit about athletes' welfare. Lots of parents have begged the committee for help for their children who is in college overseas, and those pleas have fallen on rocks. Donna, while your point is taken, I don't think it's the Grenada Olympic Committee that is on the spotlight here. In this case, the Grenada Olympic Committee is far from this issue. It's the Grenada Athletic Association, which is the overseer of track and field in Grenada. So we have to sort of make that separation. I think most times people, mix up things. The Grenada Olympic Committee is the overall in terms of various sports, not just track and field, okay? And it deals specifically when it comes to Olympic sport, okay? So, yeah, you you're the fourth estate today, Bascom, push all the buttons. Yeah, I trying to get to the issue because I could understand how Ms. Griffin is feeling, and for her to come forward and to speak on the issue is because it is a burning issue for Ms. Griffin. Getting to know her, I know that she's very private and she prefers not to be in the public, limelight. So for her to make that bold move is because it's something that is really hurting her. And I don't think she will come on the program and say things that are not true. And, for her, probably this could have been just a matter that will just, she will just forget. But I think as any other parent, she is very concerned. And probably, Ms. Griffin, you probably even don't want other athletes to go through what Bralon is going through.
So I want to touch on the topic that the Prime Minister is also, he want to know why support hasn't been there. So the Prime Minister is concerned, and he do want to know why there's not support. And I do understand that Grenada is, a growing country with the athletes. So I know that Grenada is a growing country. So I feel that if there was an open line of communication from the Athletics Association, I feel like things would be different. I'm just hoping that there is an open line of communication. So that's basically what we're asking for, is just asking for the Grenada Athletic Association to communicate with Bralon.
As any parent will do, okay? Your thing is that just for some level of communication, open line communication, and as you indicated, Bralon has flown to Grenada and has been trying to meet with the various parties to get a hearing, and he has not been successful in that yet. Let's say so far he hasn't been successful. But as indicated by Mike suggesting that he bypassed the Athletic Association, but you're saying he has communicated with the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has indicated I know he probably don't want to get directly involved, but his displeasure that there has been no communication between the Athletic Association and Bralon Taplin. And again, I'm saying, I'm looking at it in no sort of favoritism, but you're talking about at a time when Bralon was your star athlete, okay? And I'm saying that. I know Bralon, I know Kirani, I know most of our athletes. I have traveled with them. I have been involved with their track and field intimately, right? In fact, as a means of disclosure again, is that I was the one who handled rather Bralon's documents for his participation, or to represent Grenada, not participation, sorry, for his representation, citizenship, everything. Okay, many years ago, I was at the consulate in New York, and there was a lot of up and down regarding Bralon Taplin in terms of participating. There were those who were saying, "Oh, we don't know this athlete. What is his claim to fame?" And I had to say, "Hey, if you're following track and field, Bralon is the top quarter miler in the junior colleges in the United States." And they was like, "Oh, okay." And again, I'm saying that to say that how much out of touch, and I'm very passionate about it, at that time was officials of the Grenada Athletic Association, because I was contacting them and they were asking me about Bralon Taplin and what is his claim to fame. And I basically have to impress upon them that if they're following track and field, they will know that Bralon is the top soldier in junior track and field in the United States at the time. He was running with the likes of Rondell Bartholomew, South Plains. And then it was, oh, okay. And then there was some movements, okay? Between that time and that time, it took probably another 5 to 6 years before Bralon even was invited to Grenada. And again, I'm saying it's because of the effort of yours truly, or let me say, the effort of Michael Bascom, traveling from New York to Boston to meet Bralon Taplin, to convince Bralon Taplin as well to come to Grenada, to travel to Grenada, to participate. And then everyone wanted to be, all the officials wanted to be with Bralon, taking photos. You know, he was the poster boy. And then when Bralon needed their assistance, they threw him under the bus. Yes, I'm being passionate about it because we are seeing time and time again how they are treating our athletes. He was their poster boy. He was all over, taking photos, going all over the country. Okay? And then when he needed their assistance, no one. It's a shame that Bralon traveled to Grenada and everyone turning a blind eye to Bralon. At the time, he was carrying the flag, Diamond League, all over the place. Bralon's name was all over. Kirani James was down and out. We never knew if Kirani would be back into competition. So Bralon was carrying the flag. I'm speaking directly in the camera because I know how Ms. Griffin is feeling. I know how Bralon probably is feeling. I know how other athletes are feeling, thinking that if Bralon can be treated that way, then how will they be treated? You know. Yeah. Okay. So yes, Miss. We have another 10 minutes, and I know I know you're feeling. I can see the I can see your eyes. I you know, I'm just trying to make you, you know, feel better because I know how you have been, how things have been for you personally and your family for, you know, the past 2 years. Albeit we still in the pandemic, so there was limited to an extent. But the main thing is about Bralon clearing his name, and for you and for Bralon's camp is not the overwhelming evidence, as you said, but so many inconsistencies in the evidence. You had 2 hearings. Some of the evidence in one hearing did not bear fruit in the other hearing, and therefore the sole arbitrator just went by what this person is saying in this hearing, not relying on what was said in the previous hearing, and you know, all these sort of things.
And I would just add that there is still, I feel that there's still hope. USADA is willing to get involved. We're just asking for communication and we're asking for support. We have not given up hope. It is tough. It's tough, but there is hope. There's still hope.
Okay. Yes, Jenny, for now, he is. And I notice, folks, please come with when I say come with facts. Don't let people give you things to post on this forum, please. Okay? Do not let people give you things to post on the forum. Please, I'm warning you. Okay. I know. No, I know what I'm speaking about, and yeah, not you. I know what I'm speaking about. Yes, Jenny. So to get to your thing, yeah, it's suggested that Bralon should not speak on the issue for himself until such time. Okay, and I think it's right for Bralon's mom, who indicated that she is willing to speak on it. Okay, yeah. That wasn't for you, Chenny, but I know who I'm speaking about. Yeah, the issue has to do with folks hiding behind others and giving other people things to post on the forum. Okay, yeah, come with it, but come with it in your own wording, etc., etc. Yeah, okay. Kellon Antoine, God bless Bralon. Tell him keep his head up. Only the truth will set him free. Had he been representing the USA, he would have been judged differently. He should be given a chance to prove his case and compete. Our Grenadian athletes should be always respected, both in good and bad times. The authorities should stand by their side in good and bad times. Inconsistencies in the hearings are a case to dismiss the case against Bralon. God bless him. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Kellon. So, yes, so as I was saying, there are those who, and they may feel a bit of guilt because all along no one seemed to be interested in Bralon representing Grenada, Bralon coming to Grenada, etc., etc. As soon as it happened, everyone jumped on the bandwagon, the Bralon Taplin bandwagon, and they were there, photos, posting, Instagram, Twitter, blah blah blah. And again, I'm saying, and some of them may feel guilty about it, when the time came for them to assist Bralon or to support Bralon, they refused to. Okay? Yes, they refused to. Some of them refused to. There are those who have shown interest, okay? Of course, there are those who have shown interest. And I'm happy to hear that, Bralon has reached out to the Prime Minister. But I know some of what I'm saying has a bearing because it's a testimony and evidence of how some of our athletes are treated. Okay. Grenada should on such a high scale in the track and field world since the 90s, but it's sad to see the lack of work is put in. Taplin, Rondell, others, no support. Sad. Yeah. Okay. So, Ms. Griffin, and I realize I tried to stay on the issues and not too personal, but I realized there were some people who were, using others to, try to score some points. What have you to say in the next few minutes? We do have the next 5 minutes or so to the Grenadian public who might be watching this program regarding Bralon Taplin.
What do I have to say to others that may be watching the program regarding Bralon Taplin?
Yeah.
I will say, the invading sample collection report that they have out is incorrect. We have not yet received any support from Grenada. Our communication with the Grenada Athletic Association. However, we're hoping that it's been 2 years, yes, but we're still hoping that they will be willing to reach out to us and talk to us in regards to the hearing and everything that has taken place at this time. To the people in Grenada, Bralon enjoyed running track. He still do. And he have great love for Grenada.
Good to hear that. Jazel, I wish I could answer. Jazel is asking, why do you think they refuse to communicate or support?
I can't speak on that. I'm not sure.
Okay. Next question. For what it's worth, our small club, the South City Rising Stars track club under the leadership of Coach Lee Coffey, stands with Bralon Taplin, and we hope and pray for his return to competition. So that's from Mike Batiste, who is also a member of the South City Rising Stars. Yeah. So Miss Griffin has indicated your issue has to do with one, as you indicated, the evidence that was put out against Bralon Taplin. And in addition to that, therein the lack of support from especially the Grenada Athletic Association. And I'm saying Grenada Athletic Association because it's the governing body for track and field in Grenada, okay? And therefore, for some, it should take a lead role. Christian Coleman, USATF, lead role. Shakari Richardson, USATF, lead role, etc., etc. We do know that. So I'm saying that in that context.
And we need the support from the Grenada Athletic Association as well as the committee. So we need the support for this to be able to happen.
Okay. So within now, and I don't know, and again, you didn't want to go into all the details regarding Bralon's case, and I could understand why at this stage. What it is you're hoping that could happen in the nearest possible time, because time is of essence. Now, it's 2 years into a 4-year suspension. Okay. Bralon is getting older, right? That is a fact. So what it is you're hoping, what is the hope? Tell us what is the hope.
So Bralon is looking to return to Grenada before the end of the year, and I am hoping that the Grenada Athletic Association, as well as the committee, will be willing to sit down and have a conversation with Bralon.
Okay. All right. Mike, have you ever had a conversation with the GAA on the matter? And if no, will you invite them to your program? Well, I know who is asking the question. I am always open, but let me tell you, I'm being frank with you. The Grenada Athletic Association I was on the Grenada Athletic Association mailing list, and for some reason, I'm no longer on the mailing list. I don't receive any communication from the Grenada Athletic Association. It doesn't put me out. It doesn't put me out. I will continue to advocate on athletes' behalf. I'll continue to talk on the issues regarding sports, regarding athletics, regarding football, regarding netball, whatever it is like that. So if they want to, they're always willing to be on the program. It doesn't put me out. Life goes on. Yeah. Bralon should just stay focused, trust in the man above, keep training, and stay on course. The truth will set him free. I'm anxious to see this track star back on the track. Mark my word, he will be back, and with a bang. Remember, I told you so. Yeah. Donaldson Compton, true. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't, this pettiness about if you vex with someone, you take it personal and you this, that. This is what happens in some of our sporting federations. And, I'm not part of that. Okay. You probably didn't like, a commentary or something or whatever it is. So be it. Let me tell you something before I go. I know it's time. I'm the person who started the Grenada Invitational. Okay? Yeah. And there were people in the Grenada Athletic Association who took issue with me because they were not involved in the interim. They claimed that they should have known and they wanted to be part of, and they should have this and they should have that. it'll come a time when I will speak a lot about this because I still have some of those correspondence, and I didn't want to get too involved in that at once. There, I said, hey, let me leave the Grenada Invitational, even though I started it. People were claiming, one of those persons who were posting a while ago didn't even aware of that because people were telling them that they who started the Grenada Invitational. Yes, I'm traveling up and down all over, collecting information and planning the Grenada Invitational. And there were people who were claiming that they who started the Grenada Invitational. You know, you know, that is the level I'm telling you we are in Grenada at times. That is the level we are. And that is why sometimes these things are creeping into our national associations. And that is why we get in those sort of results or the level of incompetence, you know. Yeah, okay. Folks, I want to thank you. I want to thank you, Ms. Griffin, for being on our program. And certainly I'm hoping the best. I'm hoping as you advocating for the lines of communication, you said that Bralon has been in touch with the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister expressed his whatever concern regarding that line of communication. I'm hoping that something can stir up and there could be some truce, some, I mean, I don't want to put what it is, but I'm hoping there'll be some level of satisfaction, especially for Bralon's camp. I know it's hurting. I know how Bralon is feeling. Sorry to hear all of that is going through him. As some of the folks are saying, for him to remain focused. Track has been Bralon's life since from high school. And certainly I know how hard it is hitting him mentally, as well as financially, So I just want you to, continue, ask Bralon to stay focused. Certainly the folks have been given a lot of support. We've seen that a lot of support from the folks who are listening. And let me just take some comments going in there before we wrap up. Too much bad mind in athletics in Grenada, and things should be dealt with differently and have people in the committee that has love and to boost the athletes, to push and be there for them. Yes, Michael, I love your passion. You're the voice for voiceless. As they say, just say as it is. Who is vexed is their business. Interesting program. Keep it at it is. Let's work to improve all forms of sports development and administration here in Grenada. Well, Chenny, as the first vice president of Grenada Olympic Committee, I hope it's something you can bring into the Olympic Committee that can spread across all facets of sports in Grenada, not just track and field, not just football, but all sports in Grenada. Okay. Yeah. And Mike is saying, also let them explain why they leave half of the Olympic team. Mike, I didn't get that properly. Have them explain why they left Harley off the Olympic team. Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Harley. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks very much, Mike. Yeah. He's saying I have them explain. My thing is that, the program is open for anyone who wants to, talk about sports. That is what we do. We speak to sportsmen, sportswomen, sports administrators. I have invited, as a form of disclosure, I've invited people to the program and they have declined the offer. They said, thanks, but no thanks. I can't force them. I can't, do that. I can't force anybody. I invite a lot of people to the program. Some willing to come in on the program. Some say, no thanks. But yet for all, there are those who say no thanks, but they comment in they commented otherwise, but that's fair. That's fair enough. Thank you again, Ms. Griffin, for being on the program. And if there's any time you want to be back to talk about anything, please let me know. We'll be willing to support. And as the folks are saying on the stream, for Bralon to stay focused. Any comments from you? Last comments from you?
First of all, thank you for having me. Brandon will stay focused. He will continue to practice and, make himself better and fight through this. We're just hoping and wishing for the communication line. And when he go back to Grenada by the end of this year, hopefully we're able to speak to someone. Um, so yes, thank you again.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I hope that your um, public comments do not come back to backfire. We have a way of revenge and retaliation, and it's why Bralon opted not to be on the program. And you, as the mother, speaking on behalf of Bralon Taplin, as the mother, came onto the program. But I will mark that we do have ways of taking revenge and retaliating. But the public, I am certain the Mike Batista and others will monitor. Kellen Antwine and the Roger Duncan and others will monitor, and they'll keep tab, and they'll pull their feet to the fire. Thank you very much again. Thank you, Chenny. And Chenny, by the way, is the first vice president of the Grenada Olympic Committee. And I'm hoping that Chenny, hearing the comments, hearing the passion, hearing the plea, you may be able to use your good office to see that there's some form of communication, as Ms. Griffin is claiming that they want to have regarding the Bralon Taplin issue. Thank you very much once again, Ms. Griffin. I want to thank you for being on the program. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, then. All right. Folks, there you have it. Ms. Contina Griffin, the mother of Bralon Taplin. And despite what she was saying, I gave my disclosure in terms of knowing Bralon, being involved with Bralon for many years, since Bralon was started representing Grenada, looking at Bralon competing for Salt Plains. Then when he went in to Texas A&M, following his exploits all around. And quite a lot, I'm telling you, that had happened. Bralon again with Rondell and others, yeah. But it's sad to know. And my thing about it is that whatever may happen, okay, whatever it is, and some people claiming this, there will always be those who claiming this and claiming that and, making this claim and whatever it is. The fact of the matter is that, and I'm not advocating for any special treatment, okay? The fact of the matter is that there should be a better way of treating our athletes, okay? Especially those who have given a lot in terms of representing our country, okay? And it's almost like a fall from grace, okay? And again, I'm saying there are those who were quick to jump on the Bralon Taplin bandwagon. And, I can probably go and find some of those photos and thing, and, you can judge for yourself. And they were all over the place. I mean, I took a back seat on this sort of things. I mean, travel to Boston, met with Bralon, convinced Bralon, hey, Bralon, you have been representing Grenada for all those years, and you have never traveled, to Grenada, and I thought it was necessary for you to come to Grenada and participate. And yes, Bralon did take up the offer, and he came into Grenada, okay, and participated, and that was, very good. Everyone was happy. Everyone jumped, hey, Bralon, blah, blah, blah. First year, participated. But then look what happened after, whatever the situation, okay, I'm saying that there could have been a better way of dealing with that. And I looked at some of the communication, okay, some of the messages, the text messages and the back and forth. And in my conclusion, we basically fell, we way off. I'm telling you, we fell way off when looking. And I'm saying that I can't tell you now. At some point in time, it may come to the public for, but all for now, it will remain, for your eyes only. And we fell flat. Even some of the messages and things like that. So, and again, I'm saying we need to find better ways of treating our athletes. And for those who hiding behind, others and pushing in, information and things like that. So I want you to come forward and put it, because I have some questions. I have some questions that I want to ask, but I will leave that for another time. The time will come when we will know all the facts. Yeah. Still have hopes of seeing Kirani, Bralon, Rondell, Junior Charles, and others form a 4x4 relay team to represent Grenada at the World Games or Olympics. Michael, thanks for the update on sprinter Bralon Taplin. Yeah. Thank you very much, folks. Thank you for being part of the program. Always a pleasure. For those wondering, this weekend here in Texas, Formula One. It's Formula One weekend. So Hamilton and the boys, they are in town. Okay, lots of activity happening, and no doubt, you'll be hearing. The focus is in Austin, Texas, this weekend. Happy to be here. Yeah. Thank you very much. Hopefully on Thursday we'll have another program. This time will be at 8:00 Eastern Time. That's 7:00 Central Time for another in our Talk Sports program. I want to thank you for being on our program today, and looking forward to your continued support. Thank you very much, and have a pleasant weekend.